Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 305. I'm your host, Ryan, joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin. And guess what? Ray is back. Ray Chase is back with us. And you know what that means?
He had nothing better to do.
I was bored tonight.
I was going to say
family's out of town.
I was going to say it's a round table of awesome, but I mean,
it is a round table.
Yeah, well, that's a given. But.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means we're discussing some show, some movie, something. We're going to dive in, and Ray's going to tell us all about it and how much
the penguin
or loved it.
The penguin. We're talking the penguin.
Zero of the penguin. But you can talk about it, and I'll sit here and
eat
the popcorn. You could go like line by line, scene by scene. That'd be great.
No, we're not talking about the penguin.
I guess the penguin's good, though. Penguin's good?
Penguin's good.
Penguin's very
good. So good.
Is it over yet? Or like, is it finished with the season?
It is. Yes.
Finished this past weekend.
Watch the whole thing.
I'll have to check it out.
You find out who the penguin is?
You do find out who the penguin is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's good.
All right.
Maybe I should have said spoilers before I said that, but yes.
I mean, I think. I don't know. I'll probably never see it. Well, maybe one.
Oh, what?
Well,
I'm never going to see it.
I don't have Max.
I just said
right now.
It ended. So sign up for the free whatever, and binge the whole thing.
That's true.
Do they still do those free weekends for HBO and Showtime and all?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Black Friday's coming
the good
up.
old days.
Treat yourself.
We just finished. This is not what we're talking about either. But since we're talking about shows that we're not talking about, we just finished Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, I haven't watched the third.
Good.
I haven't watched the latest season yet.
Also very good.
Man, I did not like that ending. But that's all
you
I'll say.
Didn't?
No, I mean, like, it was very, like...
Oh, just emotion. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Like sad. Like, oh... I mean, it was all good. Everything's wonderful.
Good.
Yeah.
Everything's
That's such a good show, though. But anyways.
It's only called Only Murders in the Building. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's such a good show.
It is.
Good.
We sort of binged, like, we didn't binge it like straight through, but we got Hulu and we were behind, so we were just like, and some shows like that you watch and a season or two in, you're like, okay, it's run its course. But this one is, I mean,
And I'm definitely shipping Martin Short and was it what's her name? The actress. I want to say Bette Miller. That's not her name.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Hey,
in real life. I want them to be
in
together
real
in real life. Yeah.
Oh,
They're adorable. They're adorable together. I want them to be. People have seen them out places.
What?
Two of them.
In public?
In public.
No.
You heard it here first on iamGEEK.
They're married and have 5 kids now. Secret children. Secret love child.
They're old.
Yeah. Really old. So there you go. At the beginning of the show, there's 2 more shows you can check out. If you're listening or watching and you haven't seen them, I mean, check out Penguin and Only Murders in the Building.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah. If you like a little comedy with murder, I would say Only Murders.
Penguin.
If you like just murder, probably Penguin, right?
Well, I mean,
straight up murder.
It could be comedic to some people.
Oh.
And if you want to watch a good animated series, Arcane's back.
It is back.
It's back.
There are so many things we could be talking about.
And we get to say what we're actually talking about.
You might be able to tell by the color of behind 3 of us.
There's a Prince biopic.
The color.
Yes, we're talking about Prince.
When Doves Cry is the name of this episode.
Now that has to be the name.
That will confuse everyone.
Agatha All Along When Doves
Cry. And Katrin just told us what we're talking about.
Oh gosh.
Oh my lord.
It was Agatha all along.
It was. I mean, all of this other stuff was misdirects, red herrings, if you will.
Kind of like the show, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Scarlet
twists and
Harry.
turns. Scarlet Harry. So it's been a couple weeks since it's been over. So hopefully everybody's had plenty of time to watch it. If not, there will most likely be spoilers, or maybe not. We'll see. If there's a spoiler, Katrin will add a ding in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't hear a ding, then you're safe.
It's just one. It's one constant ding.
Yes.
He's just gonna be sitting there when we start talking, and he's gonna go ding 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 ding.
Right. I can.
Are there spoilers or are they cursing? What's going on?
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect.
excuse you. All right, so we're talking about Agatha All Along tonight. The series has ended. Will there be another one? I don't know. They did cancel Moon Knight season 2.
Oh,
They did?
that's disappointing.
Yeah.
They did?
They may turn it into a movie. They don't know yet, I think.
They should.
I like Moon Knight a lot. But anyways, back to Agatha.
Yeah.
So this season sort of picks up where WandaVision left off.
Yeah.
Sort of, I guess.
Kind of.
Kind of. I mean,
weirdly.
it kind of picks up where the Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah, that part of it.
But yeah.
I mean, Agatha's still in this town, but when WandaVision ended, she wasn't like a detective or anything.
No,
Right,
and really, she still wasn't.
Well, yeah, she's just losing.
She was just nuts.
Yeah, but she was trapped in like that TV world.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know. So.
By the sound of it was like every week or month or something, she would like slip into a different genre and be like a different person or something. And
I'm still. I mean, the show's over. I'm still confused about why all the townspeople were like, "Okay, let's just play along." I still don't understand that.
Unless it was just in her mind, like she.
No, they were saying we're still playing along, right? Like she's a cop, right? We're pretending to be this. Like,
well, I just meant like when she came out of her house and started talking to people, but when she would have like interactions, like, you know, her neighbor in her fantasy or whatever was like, you know, her partner, and the other guy was like, you know, the chief of police. I was like, wait a minute, is the whole town still cursed into having to like play act for this one person, or is this all like in her head? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of like they're like, she's crazy, so we'll just like there's nothing there, but we'll just play along because she's nutso.
I don't know.
That's what it sort of felt like.
It seemed like that was like their easiest thing. Like, I mean, I'll just say this and then she'll go away.
Yeah.
You don't think they were maybe afraid of something that could happen?
Maybe.
The Scarlet Witch is gone,
they might have been.
So,
yeah. I mean, they saw both of them battling in the sky, so I mean, probably a little afraid of her.
Yeah.
And she killed the dog, so I mean.
No.
Well, she had somebody else kill the dog.
It's true.
That we found out.
Mephisto.
Nope, his name was mentioned in the show.
It was mentioned.
We're never getting Mephisto.
I don't think we're getting him either.
Ever.
No.
I think by the time, if we do get him, which are sort of out all over the place, but the time we do get Mephisto, I don't think anybody's going to care.
No.
I think people are going to be like, oh, yeah, he's here now? Okay.
Oh, that's him? Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
It's the show that cried Mephisto. Every show says they're going to have him, and they never do.
I thought we might get a little tease since they mentioned his name, but nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. So we'll start this. Did everybody like the show? Some people not like the show? Let's go in general, like overall.
It was okay.
I enjoyed it, and it was fun. It had some fun things to it, and like I watched the whole thing. I kind of looked forward to it a bit every week, just to kind of see what they're going to do, because I like Catherine Hahn, and I liked I can't remember any of their names, but the older witch who could kind of tell the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she was really good. Really good job.
Lila.
Yeah, well, yeah, I had fun with it. That's the thing.
I think anything like watching anything after on Disney Plus after finishing the Acolyte, you know, made it made it okay. Like, okay, this is good.
I can stomach this.
Yeah. I thought it was. I'm sort of with Katrin. I thought it was okay.
Mhm.
I've heard people say this is the best Marvel show they've ever made, and I'm like,
Oh,
no,
no.
nope, not at all. I
Have
thought
you
it was.
seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Let me tell you about a boat.
This is okay. You guys will appreciate this story. Nobody else probably will, but
Mhm.
I listened to this podcast called Off Menu, which we talked about it before, where their
Yeah.
comedians have a guest in and they basically give their dream menu. Well, they had Bucky on, Sebastian
Stan.
and they
Stan.
had him on, and they got to talking about. I'm horrible with actors' real names, like
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie. They started talking about it, and one of them said, "So, does he have a boat in real life?" And I was like, "Bah!" And he's like, "I think he does." Is he? And then one of them said, "Is he constantly working on it?" So I'm like, "There's more people that know about this whole
Yeah.
boat thing than just us."
Yeah, right.
So it was really funny. But yeah, so I thought it was okay. I thought it had some. I mean, I enjoyed it up until a certain point, which we could talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it sort of maybe sits in the middle of the road as far as Marvel.
The Witch's Road.
The Witch's Road. Yes.
Oh, it's not real. Oops. Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Oh.
Hold on.
Did anybody call it ahead of time? Oh, this isn't even going on.
Well, first, we didn't get what Ray thought.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same camp. I mean, it was Halloween time. I mean, it was fun watching it at Halloween time. If it wasn't Halloween time, I might have liked it a little bit less.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's kind of the problem I have with a lot of the Disney Plus shows, Loki notwithstanding. So I liked Loki season 1, season 2, all the way through, and I liked WandaVision most of it up until kind of the end. But there's like stuff that I like in the shows. There's like moments, even in the Acolyte, there was things that I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. Oh, I kind of like this. But then it's surrounded by a bunch of missed opportunities or things that only make sense or just bad writing. And I kind of feel Agatha kind of fell into the same boat. I felt like for a show that's called Agatha All Along, she was sort of the least interesting character. The episode with Lila, which was like I think the second to last episode, was like awesome.
Yeah,
it was like my favorite episode, and I don't even think Agatha was even in it, you know. And I just had a hard time kind of. I mean, some of the surprises, which we'll probably get to in a minute, I kind of feel like you could see them coming a mile away. It wasn't like, you know, oh, that's a shocking twist. And it was fun enough. I liked the humor. I liked that the witches, you know, talked about stereotypes of witches, and you know, they were offended by this. And I mean, there was a fun element to it, but it was just okay. I mean, it was fun to watch for the season. It wasn't like like a Wednesday. Like Wednesday, that show is great at Halloween time. It's great anytime. It's just a really awesome sort of show.
The show Wednesday, not the day of the week.
Yes.
For this.
Also, the day of the week is good though, Wednesday, because you know you're halfway to the weekend. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get more into it, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's fun enough, you know.
Yeah.
It was no penguin though.
No. Nothing is.
I'm like you. If it came out in March, I would have been like, I'll get to it when I get to it. But since it was Halloween time, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's Halloween time.
Yeah, it really fit.
I think I liked it more when it started than when it ended. Like I was less excited about watching the ending of it than I was watching the first few episodes. Because we talked about it on a previous episode where it was almost like these escape rooms they had to get out of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was also that element of WandaVision where they took on these other personas in a way, or different eras or whatever. But I thought that was really fun. It just, as it got along and got more into the actual story, I was like, this I'm not interested in. So
yeah, it was. I guess here's a character reveal. I think it was a way for them to introduce Lady Death in
sure.
semi-interesting way, I guess. So I think they're going to do more with her, and this was a way to get her in to the MCU, I guess. I like her. I like the actress as
Audrey
in that
Plaza.
character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think she fits that. And I like the way they made her look. I thought her look was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I thought there was a couple of boat episodes, since we've already talked about that. That could have been summed up in 10 minutes.
Yeah, overall, they probably could have done just like an hour and a half movie of this, like a Halloween special, like they did with Werewolf by Night.
Yeah,
they probably could have just done that.
Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably could have done that, just in a special, and it would have worked just fine. But yeah, they wanted to do the series, and I think you mentioned it for Lady Death, but I feel like it was a lot of it was to introduce Wiccan.
Yeah, him too. Those two characters.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like he became sort of the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
I guess it was just in the background.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was just kind of. I mean, even like with with the trials, I was just kind of like, was this going to be what every episode is going to be? Every episode, it's another trial. It's another house. It's like, this is turning into like a Love Boat formula where it's just like each week we have to escape, and each week another witch dies. And it's like, okay, but are we going to do a little more than that? Are we going to take a deep dive? And that was the thing. I mean, like with Agatha, I mean, I feel like they dropped little hints about her son and this and that, but I don't know. Once it was all said and done, I was kind of like looking back at it and thinking about it recently because I knew we were going to do this. And I was like, what was her motivation? What was driving her? And I thought it was going to be the son, because when she finds out about, Billy and how he kind of came back, I thought, oh, she was going to be like, I'm going to figure out how you did this, and I'm going to use you to get my kid back. And that's why she wanted to, kind of keep him close and amass all this power. But there really wasn't anything like that. She just wanted power. And it's like, well, okay, but to do what with? I mean, give us something more. Give us something deeper. I don't know. And it felt like they were kind of teasing it. And then they didn't really, follow through on it, which was a little disappointing. So
it did seem like, because at one point, Death says, like, why don't you like really let them know who you are or whatever. Like she or her backstory, you're not that bad of a person or something, but then when they show actually what happened, I mean, what happened with her son was tragic, but she was still a bad person. It's not like there was necessarily a big reveal there. She was still just like, well, I'll just go keep going and killing people, I guess.
And and even that, I was hoping that there was going to be motivation there, that she got extra time to keep her son alive. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe she's killing these witches because she wants to be powerful enough that when death comes for her son, she can take on death. But there was really no sort of, because I mean, the kid even asked, well, Mom, why are you killing the witches? And she was just like, power.
Yeah, she's like,
okay, but
but the day
the
day they took a break from killing was when he died. So I guess the day keeps the death away.
Yeah, and they kind of hinted at she's wanting to collect this power to stay alive and keep staying alive, because if she dies, she's afraid that she'll be confronted by her dead son in some way. So they kind of like they touched on it very briefly at the end when like Billy was like, "What are you afraid of?" or whatever, and she was like, "I'm afraid of facing him."
But why?
Yeah, but
He just died. You didn't trade him for the book or anything. You didn't get him killed. You actually prevented him from dying as an infant.
Yeah.
And now you're ashamed. Oh no.
Yeah, I know. It's like she was ashamed because she like took his story of the Witch's Road and turned it into something where she kept killing witches. But well, if you're that afraid of that, like, why did you do that?
Yeah, that's why it's that kind of stuff that once it's all said and done, and I think about it, I'm like, there's just a lot of like, huh, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot. Yeah. So Wiccan so what we find out is Wiccan is just the one that killed everybody, pretty much, because he created this WandaVision type place.
Yes.
So it's his fault that everybody dies, pretty much.
Yeah, the song that was made by Agatha and her son, it was just a song that they would sing, and then she used it to lure witches in to steal their power. There never was a Witch's Road or anything. And basically, that one episode where it's revealed and he's kind of Kaiser Soze, he's like looking around the room and it's like, oh, Wizard of Oz, oh, Witch's Road, oh, the singer, oh, he's just like seeing all these things.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that guy wasn't named Mr. Buttersworth. There was just a Buttersworth thing over there.
Okay, I'm trying to think before I get to the ending. We saw Evan Peters again. He makes an appearance in an episode that I thought didn't need to be an episode. That's one of the episodes I thought didn't need to be an episode.
That was the boat episode to me, where it went into Billy's backstory, which that shouldn't have been a boat episode, but it felt like a boat episode.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of retelling a lot of the things you kind of already knew, and then stuff that you kind of already figured out anyway.
Yeah, I kind of liked that episode, but at the same time, when he started having encounters with all of the witches that he ends up on the road with later on, I was expecting some kind of a thing there. I was like, do they not? Does Lila not remember him? And how? And again, it's just that was kind of the frustrating thing. It's like they would tease these kind of things with them crossing paths, which could be cool. I mean, they used to do that in Lost all the time. They'd have the flashbacks, then come to find out half the people on the plane had bumped into each other at one point or another.
Yeah.
And so they were kind of doing a little bit of that, but then there was never really any explanation for how him seeing an ad with Jen in it ended up getting her pulled into this circle of witches. I don't know. It was just a little, again, some cool ideas that they didn't really quite.
Yeah, because I really liked his idea of his backstory, that there was a car wreck, the kid died, and he went into his body. I thought that was a cool way to do it, especially kind of age him up. Into more.
Is that in the comic at all, or
no?
Okay, that's just made it for the show. Okay,
made it for the show. No, in the comic is wanted to create the kids, and then when everything went back to normal or something, there was something about actually Mephisto had their souls or something. She had to.
Oh, our favorite Mephisto. Katrin, thoughts, likes, dislikes, couldn't stand parts, love parts.
I mean,
you're a witch.
No. No, it wasn't one that I would just go back to and was anxious to look at. I mean, to watch, I guess. But like I said, I did like the first half of it, and then I just kind of zoned out the rest of it. But it just took me a long time to get to the last episode. And the part of it is like my family has no interest in it, so it's like I just had to find time to watch it, and it was difficult. But
it wasn't for us.
Yeah. So
Aw. Let's just go down the witch's road together, all of us.
Because the other thing too, I mean, it's kind of frustrating with Billy, Teen, William, Wickham, however many names this kid has, is that, you know, when he gets revealed, you know, and he like just kind of all of a sudden blue energy, he's got the power, kind of like, hey, I've been a wolf in sheep's clothing the whole time. I've just been using you to get what I want, which is my brother back, and yeah. But then at the very end, he's like, "What? I dreamed this all up." Like he didn't realize that he had like actually created all of this, but within your own created matrix of fake reality, you just power up. Like you've been a superhero the whole time. And then after that, it was like, oh no, I'm shorting out. And like, are you powerful? Are you not powerful? Are you aware that you're powerful? Or I don't know. You're trolling us. What's going on? It was just a little. It was a little all over the place.
He's the real villain.
They weren't quite sure, like if what they were. You know, the little crown appears.
I think they were trying to use the one witch that could see the future as the excuse because she put the sigil or whatever on him, but it was sort of a weak excuse as far as him powering up and powering down. And like, I get it that he didn't know who he was, but then
I feel like they were going with like where like the mother lifting a car off their child or something, like emotions welled up so much that it just kind of burst out without him thinking, but then like it settled back down. He couldn't understand exactly how he did it. I think that's kind of what they were going for, but at the same time,
So did Agatha? Let's see, this is no confusing thing. Since we know her past because of the last episode, does Agatha know the whole time that this is all fake? This isn't real.
It seemed like, I mean, she knew it wasn't a real thing. Like, that it never existed. And when they showed the episode where it just kind of popped up, she seemed very surprised. And when he came down the stairs, it seemed like she kind of knew or like suspected that it was him that did it. I don't think she knew then it was Billy, like Scarlet Witch's son, but she seemed to know there was something about him and that's why it happened. Because when he came down the stairs, that's when it showed up.
Yeah. I do think in the very first watch, when I watched the first episode, I did get the feeling that the whole road thing was a bit of a con, because you kind of got the sense from the very beginning. I'm like, you've never been on the road. You've never been. And her surprise to me wasn't that the road doesn't exist. It was, I wasn't expecting the door to open because I've never actually been on it, because even as they were on it, she seemed very much like she was making it up as she went along, and they kind of even said, have you even been on the road? And
exactly like that.
And just like, hey, you ever been on the road? Hey, I'm walking over here.
He's back to Penguin.
Hey, why do we have to leave our shoes back there? When you gotta get shoes?
He's back in Penguin mode.
That's right. So
what you doing?
Hey, what you doing over there? Hey, it's all my guys. Hey,
you want to be a big man? You want to be a big man?
But for Agatha, the last episode was like the best episode for her. It was like, okay, finally we have an episode that's actually about you, the star of the show.
Sure.
So can we agree that they did were they the Salem 7 or what were they?
Yeah.
Can we agree that they did them dirty? They could have done more cool stuff with them instead of just have them lurk around and then fall in a room.
Yeah, they weren't that hard to take care of.
Yeah, like when you first see them and whatever it was at the first or second episode, you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be cool.
They were creepy and they move fast,
and that would have been cool to see more of. But then it was like,
and then they didn't.
Let's not put them in the creepy form most of the time. Let's put them as animals because people like animals. That's what they did most of the time. They were all little animals.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I was hoping for more with them.
Yeah, at a certain point, I forgot about them because when they're like, "Oh, the seven, they're getting," I'm like, "Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They were being pursued. Where did they go? Did they get lost?
I mean, it was just a straight road. I don't know how they could have got lost.
I don't know.
And I don't know why they couldn't, but maybe Billy or Teen or whatever stopped them from entering those houses. Like I couldn't figure out, like, now that we know that it was all in his head, once they got to one of the trials, the witches, they couldn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it locked off.
Yeah.
They couldn't get inside until unlocked.
I guess. I don't
It's that crazy hex magic.
know.
It's chaos.
All right.
It's chaos.
So the last two episodes, me personally, this is my problem with most Marvel shows. You can agree, you can disagree. Doesn't matter.
Thanks.
No, I mean in general. Like,
I give you permission.
No,
Wow.
like in general.
You have two options.
Like to me, it's like, yeah, you can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. It's like you like it. I think most Marvel shows should end before the last episode because it somehow, to me, it feels like they always screw it up big on the last episode. I felt like this one, because they put out the 2 on, the day before Halloween. I would have been fine if I watched the first one and never watched the second one, because to me, I thought it was a little goofy. I thought it was I liked how the one before it ended. I was like, ooh, cliffhanger. Yeah, season 2 is coming. And then it's like, oh no, we got this other episode. All right, we're going in her backstory. And now she's Casper the Friendly Ghost. I was just like,
that was the part I didn't like. The backstory I liked.
Yes. Yeah. I liked the backstory as well.
I would have liked the backstory if it was maybe
earlier.
Yeah.
No, I agree. They could have, kind of like what we talked about when we were talking about Ahsoka, by we were talking about having those flashbacks with Anakin throughout the whole show, and I think that would have made that stronger if they had like little glimpses of her backstory with her son, so that you get a little bit of that emotional connection that the two of them had and so forth, and then a little bit of Rio and like how she all kind of fit into that. Rather than just giving us an Agatha dump in the last episode, like, well, here's everything about her that we could have told you a little bit before, but we didn't.
Maybe that's why, because there wasn't any emotional connection at all. It was just like, oh, here's a kid. This is her kid. Oh, she was just killing witches for him. Oh, he's dead. Okay, well.
Right. And if you had if you spent some time with these characters, you build that up. But I agree with you. When she was a ghost, I was just like, what is season 2 going to if they do even more with this, what's this going to be like?
Yeah, it was.
Me and my annoying ghost sidekick. I mean,
I'm like, why does she have white hair as a ghost? I mean, I guess because the comic book character has white hair.
She's old and has white hair in the comics.
Yeah, but it's just like, I was just like, what's this Casper the Friendly Ghost joke? I mean, I was just done by. I was done by then. I was like, I enjoyed the show up until this point.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh.
The thing that got me there was like, okay, she's a ghost, and then Billy goes back to her house to like get rid of her. Like he's like, and he's like, I'm just gonna get rid of you. I hate you. Blah, blah, blah. And like she like says one thing, and then he's like, well, I mean, you're not that bad, I guess.
Yeah.
We can team up. It's just like it was so flip floppy on like how he like. Throughout the whole show, it's like he would like trust her, but then like not trust her, hate her, but then like, I guess I'll keep you around, and that didn't quite make sense to me. He just it didn't really show a good flow of like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they're given a certain amount of episodes that they have to do, and then the writers and stuff, when they get to the end, they're like, oh, we gotta put all this junk in there.
Yeah,
we forgot about this. Just throw it in. It's like it's been like that on multiple Marvel shows. Even WandaVision, I felt that the show was great, and then the last episode.
Yeah. Well, and also like, I mean, there was stuff, and again, I mean, they kept dropping little things which made you think something was going to happen or they were building to something. Because there was like the dialogue, right? Like when Rio tricked her and turned on the microphone. Or no, Agatha tricked her. I can't remember who tricked who. They turned on the microphone and announced to the whole house that, she was going to get Rio her bodies, which is like, wink, wink, I'm death. And then I'll get the bodies. And so I was like, oh, does she have like a deal with her? Like, she needs to deliver. And I thought maybe this is why she was killing all these witches. I mean, is this what she's going to do? Did she make a deal with death? If I bring you like kind of like a Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones thing, if I give you this many souls, will you give me back my son or something? So I was like, oh, maybe these were, she needs to keep delivering witches and she's been in this purgatory. So she's behind on quota. But there was never any, what is that? It never really went anywhere, and I was kind of like, Agatha should just be bad. I don't want you to become good. I don't want you to be like, I'm a witch and now I have a heart of gold. I'm going to save everyone. And with her and Billy, it just kind of kept sort of flip-flopping that way. And I'm like, he's super powerful and you want power. And he also knows how to put souls back in bodies. But you're like, hey, let's sit down and do some yoga and like figure out like how to use your powers. And I'm like, why are you like turning into Yoda all of a sudden? I mean, you shouldn't be trying to help him. You should be trying to steal the power. No, I promise I'm not going to. Oh, okay. You really aren't going to do it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it was weird. You made a good point there. I just thought about like would have made a cool ending. That if it was about her getting her son back, that if this whole thing was about Agatha getting her son back, which makes more sense if you think about it,
right?
Then at the end, Death is like, okay, here's your son. Brings the son back. Wiccan has a freak out and says, no, I want my brother back. Whips his brother into her son's body. Then that sets up season 2 right there for craziness. Because you have both brothers back, but one of the brothers is Agatha's son. And then she's going to go completely crazy, Agatha.
Head explosion.
Yeah, Death's still going to be around. Wiccan, you're like, is he good? Is he bad? I mean, he basically stole the son. I don't know. That to me, that would be more interesting that you said that about her son. Like that would be like cool instead of the, hey, I'm back as a ghost. Let's go on an adventure.
Yeah, because I mean, if you just like like with any story, I mean, if you look at where she was at the beginning, where she was at the end, it's like, well, what is Agatha's journey? What does she want in these 8 episodes? She wants power. Well, why does she want it? We don't know. What is she going to do with it when she has it? We don't know. And in the end, does she get it? Nope, she becomes a ghost. Okay, so what was the point again?
Yeah, does she become a ghost in the comics?
Chris?
I don't know. Like I don't remember anything of that nature. I mean, it's possible she could have been a ferret at some point, and I don't know.
Is she going to make a deal with Wiccan for him to put her back in a body?
I mean, possibly. The thing with Agatha is like she's really more of a Fantastic Four character. She was the nanny to their children in the comics.
Oh,
like she's been more of a good witch than a bad witch in the comics. And so they've took her in a really different direction. So like it's hard to say what they'll do with her now. I saw that the actress Catherine Hahn said she'd love to be in Fantastic Four in some way.
As a ghost.
As a ghost.
Oh wait, that's in the past though, right?
Well, that's a whole different universe. Fantastic Four.
Oh gosh, so confusing.
I mean, who knows what they'll do with that? But
does she have her clothes on in that one at least?
I mean, yeah, more elderly clothing.
I thought that was so weird. That one scene was like, okay.
But now we're introducing ghosts in the MCU. So if you do more, will she interact with other ghosts? Will Napoleon be there? I don't know. Just,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure people disagree with this. That's fine about the ending.
Yeah.
I'm still like thinking back on it. I still don't really understand what the ending was about. Like they're just teaming up to go find his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like you said, I mean, Marvel shows tend to have a little bit of that happen, particularly with what they're doing now. And the thing that was great with the Penguin is Penguin's self-contained. It's just a self-contained story. You know, it's happening within this bigger world that we know of, but it's not trying to connect anything or set. Well, I mean, maybe there is some setup for some future stuff, but it's still contained within itself. And it's kind of like at the end of this one, it's like, you know, hey, well, let's go find your brother. And then like Jen gets her powers back and she goes flying away. And I'm like,
yeah, that was...
bye? Are we going to see you again? Yeah, I don't know who you are. Are you important in the bigger MCU? I don't know.
So she is a character in the comics. She's like actually one of the witches that is a character in the comics, and she's actually the cousin to Ghost Rider. But yeah, it's like they have a thing where like we can't do anything without hinting at something else coming down the road. Whether actually something will ever come of that, who knows? Like even with Moon Knight, I really like Moonlight, but they like ended it on a kind of like a not necessarily cliffhanger, but something like, well, some more things are going to happen, but obviously not.
Yeah. Yeah. And we still have we still have WandaVision characters and Agatha, because she was in Agatha too, that are characters. I'm pretty sure they're in the comics that haven't been that. Like the lady with all in yellow with the yellow flowers. Isn't she one of the witches?
That was like, it was never said. Like it was.
She has the same name.
Speculation. Like that was like going to be her, but yeah, nothing ever came of that. I mean, we still have the Vision Quest show or whatever. I don't know if that will have anything to do with any of this. That's going to be its own thing. I don't know.
Katrin, do you hope there's another season of Agatha All Along?
No, not really. I feel like I'm kind of the outsider to a lot of the Marvel comics and these characters. I'm just like, I don't care, you know. And I'm kind of the more of a typical Disney Plus watcher, right? It's like they don't know a whole lot about those things. There were people that bought it because of Star Wars, and they're really invested in whatever's being made and hope it all connects, you know. But the Marvel stuff, some of it's good and really great, and it has some connections. But like for this, I'm like, I don't. These people are, you know, and I could see Vision maybe connecting to something else, because we've had this long run of these movies and shows, at least that of characters we recognize as, you know, go to movies and it's like, oh yeah, I saw this person in this movie. I know this show makes sense to me or whatever, you know. But something like this, I don't know, but that's fine. That's good to make new stories. But is that what they're doing? Are they bringing Wiccan out to be this character in the greater universe, or is it just this one-off? And if it is, maybe that's okay, because it does serve those people that are interested in those. But that's a lot of money for just this section of people that maybe aren't watching. I don't know.
Yeah. They'll definitely like. I really think they'll use his character again. Whether they actually continue the storyline, or if he'll just just show up with his brother.
Found him.
Yeah. Because I mean, they've basically been kind of setting up the Young Avengers, which him and his brother are part of, along with like Ms. Marvel and Hawkeye. The new Hawkeye, and there's even a character in Captain America: Winter Soldier that's part of the Young Avengers. So they've
the red
and Stature, Ant-Man's daughter.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're definitely leading to that, and I think Kevin Feige has actually said that that's going to happen. Just doesn't know when. But
the problem with that is, and it depends on how they would do that Young Avengers movie, is that, and this was kind of my side when we were talking about the Ahsoka show, is that for people that did not watch all these Marvel shows, when a Young Avengers movie comes out, you're going to be like, who the heck are these people? Who is this? Who's that? That's not Hawkeye. Did you watch Did you watch Agatha All Along? Did you watch this?
Did you watch?
Did you do all the required reading? Because if you didn't do all the required reading, you're going to be lost. And it's like, well, that's BS because I shouldn't have to. And the way they were building it before is that, everybody had their movie, everybody had their introduction, and then everybody came together. So I guess, they could do a movie, but they're going to have to sort of reintroduce all these people again for the people, for the fans that didn't watch all of the shows, and I kind of feel like, again, going back to the Penguin, the Penguin is so self-contained is that, the next Batman movie that comes out, if Penguin happens to be in it, the show is going to be inconsequential to him in the movie. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, if you didn't watch the show, you're not going to have any idea who this character is. He was already kind of introduced in the first movie. If you never watched the show and you saw him in the second movie, you're like, oh yeah, he was in the first movie. These characters are being like born from parent offshoots, Wanda and Vision, and we saw them in the movies. Well, did you know they had a little show? And in the little show, they had a little child, and in the little died, and then but then there was another show where the child came back, and it's like, what are you talking about? I know Wanda, I know Vision. When did all this other stuff happen? Well, it happened. And 3 years on Disney Plus.
Do you think
it doesn't? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it doesn't help that they're like. There's so many of those characters that are happening in so many different things. Whereas in like they're going to be doing Thunderbolts,
right?
But Thunderbolts, like I feel like you could probably watch 2 movies and know the characters. Watch Black Widow and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
and for the trailer of
that's
that, I think you could watch that movie and just have fun with it.
Yeah, and just enjoy
it.
Yeah.
Because they can explain, what's his name? You, Chris. You, Captain America. What's his name?
It's me. U.S. agent is.
Yeah, they could explain that with a little bit of dialogue, I mean, and they kind of do that in the trailer a little bit, when you say, oh, you were Captain America for like, what, a minute? I mean, but all of them were in movies except for him. He was the only one that like premiered on a Disney Plus show. Everybody else had their screen time, So if you're keeping up with watching these films, you're going to know who these people are. So it's a little bit like what Marvel was doing before. You have the movies and then you have a team up, And instead they're doing all this TV stuff. It's not crossing over into the film. So then to like throw them all together, it's just going to be like, I don't know. I think it's going to be confusing. I think I don't see a whole lot of like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this,
Yeah. They're trying to use their lightning in the bottle formula for the lead up to the Avengers on the TV shows, but that formula doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I think once Endgame hit, they're like, yeah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. But we'll just use all new characters, but do the same thing. And it didn't work because all those new characters aren't people. Like if you went to somebody and said, hey, you know the Incredible Hulk? Like before the Avengers movies, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know who the Incredible Hulk is. But if you go to somebody and be like, hey, big fan of Wiccan, are you? They'll be like, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So like those first Avengers were heroes that not everybody, but a lot of people knew.
Yeah, a lot of people knew.
So that was easy. But when they went to the Disney Plus model, but used the same model as the Avengers model, nobody knew who any of these were.
Exactly.
But a lot of these characters are more normal people, right? Like Ms. Marvel is just like this normal kid that gets this superpower glove thing, and Hawkeye is a kind of a normal guy. He's just really good with arrows, or
but he was with the Avengers.
Oh, I know he is. Right. That's different. Yeah. But then the character. What's the other girl? The Echo.
Kate Bishop.
Oh no, Kate Bishop. Yeah, no, you're right. Kate Bishop and then Echo. Those came from.
I forgot Echo was the show.
Yeah. Those came from. They were I don't know. They're
A
unknown.
lot of people are going to have forgotten that Echo was a show.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're trying to make it so people can identify with them more or something, I guess.
But see, if they did like a Young Avengers thing on Disney Plus, then it would sort of kind of go with, I don't know. It's kind of like stick with if you're going to introduce everyone on television on your streaming service, then put your movie on the streaming service. And this is going to be the and this is going to be the problem if they start doing these Star Wars collab movies in theaters where they take, Ahsoka and Mando and whatever, and now it's like, oh, they're all going to come together and fight Thrawn in a movie that we're putting in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I hope people understand who half these characters are, because outside of Grogu and Mando, I don't know that like everybody knows who these other players are,
Yeah.
And you've kind of like set people up to be like, I'm just gonna wait for that to be on Disney Plus.
Right. Yeah. It'll be on in a couple months.
Everything now.
Yeah.
So we've learned that theater is dead. That's what we've learned tonight.
Well, it's almost like what you said. After Endgame, it's almost like what they needed to do was like they needed to start over again. It's like, okay, Endgame is done. We have a slate of new heroes we want to bring out. We need to start over. But they don't want to start over. They want to have the next Endgame come out in 5 to 6 years. They don't want to go, okay, we're going to have a movie about this one. We're going to have a movie about that one. And then our 10-year plan, they're all going to come together, and it's going to be the new Avengers. And then after that, we're going to do this. And then after that, we're going to do Doomsday. It's like, no, we want another Endgame. We want another big tentpole. We bring, 30 heroes together. It's like, you guys can't do that, like, for every movie now. I mean, Endgame and Infinity War worked because you guys built the momentum, and we wanted to see all these guys come together,
Yeah, I think what they should have done, which I'm just a guy that's talking into a microphone. But I think once they were acquired the Fox rights with X-Men, Deadpool and stuff, they should have just been like, you know what? We're just going to put all this other stuff on the back burner and we're going to focus on this. Because then they could have had their next Avengers level instead of being like, no, let's just continue on. And a few years down the line, we'll use these cool characters that everybody loves. We'll use those down the line. They should have just been like, hey, we're wasting a lot of money here on echoes and all this stuff. We're just going to go with X-Men because everybody loves X-Men and everybody loves Deadpool. They should have done that. And then they could have brought the Avengers back into it. But
building a new generation of heroes.
Well, they're
well, I think as much as I liked Endgame and stuff like that, and like Iron Man's kind of arc and like him sacrificing himself, I feel like they kind of wrote themselves into a corner by doing that.
They did.
Where it's just like, these characters age and then they die, and then we can't use them anymore.
Which is why they're bringing them back as Doom.
Well, because they've been continuing with this, interconnected timeline, and it's like, okay, well, at a certain point, Kevin Feige will be very old as well, but 20, 30 years down the line, are you going to be scraping the barrel for new heroes? If it's going to be one and done, now we got to find the younger replacement. Ironheart, she's like Iron Man, but not Iron Man. It's like, well,
I think that's what they're thinking with I think that's what they're thinking with X-Men. They're like, okay, we got X-Men in our back pocket. So once we run out of all these little Avengers characters, then we'll get to the X-Men. But it's like, I don't think you should. I think you should just get to it now. Just,
but some of these characters overlap with X-Men, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could do the X-Men, and then once that gets established under Disney, bring in.
They're building things. They're building this.
Well, I'm tired.
I do feel like they're gonna do. I do feel like they're gonna do a reset.
Yeah.
Coming up after like this whole like multiverse thing and everything, it just seems like they're going to do a reset where just all these worlds kind of collide, and you're going to have new actors playing.
Oh yeah,
some of these characters. You're going to have a new Tony Stark, and you're going to have a new Steve Rogers. It's just like, I don't. They can't just keep going. It's just like, yeah, we're never gonna have Steve Rogers again.
Yeah, they did Superman with what 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean that may not be the best example, but I mean the Batman movies,
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
like brought in
Penguin.
different people. I mean, the
And
Penguin.
it failed a few times.
I mean, you can do these stories. You don't have to reinvent it. You don't have to start from like scratch. Like, well, we got to kill another Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
To your point, I mean, and because I thought weren't you saying that like Fantastic Four is going to happen like in a different universe? Yeah. So they could have just kind of hit pause on Avengers. They could have done Fantastic Four in another universe. They could have done X-Men in another universe. And then 10 years down the line or something, that's when they do the Secret Wars that merges all the universes together. And then that's when there's the reboot and blah, blah, blah. And then enough time will have passed that, yes, we love Chris Evans. Yes, we love Robert Downey Jr., but it's been a long time. I mean, for crying out loud, man, they're redoing Harry Potter, and it doesn't feel like it's even been that long,
Yeah.
So, I mean, do some other stuff, kind of like what you guys are suggesting, and do it in different universes. And then after a lot of time has passed, then you can just big bang it all back together and basically reset it. And now we can tell new Iron Man stories, and we can tell new Captain America stories. And it could even be like a sort of a what if version of it. It doesn't even have to be like retelling the same stories. It's like, oh, well, now it's got a little bit of a different hook to it or something.
Yeah, I mean, Loki would have been like a really good jumping off point to do something like that.
Yeah,
sure.
You did bring up What If, which the last season comes, and we do get an X-Men in it for some reason.
Storm.
I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the What Ifs. So.
What?
They were just all sad and depressing.
There was one sad and depressing one. Come on.
Oh, they were all sad and depressing.
They are not.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Fun beach body Thor. Oh my gosh.
Zombies? Come on, zombies.
The zombies.
We'll see. I mean, I'll watch it. We'll see.
I'll tell you, dude. What ifs are probably like the one Marvel thing that I look forward to the most.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I just didn't get into them.
Because then I don't have to complain about these weird story things and whatever, because they're just one-offs. They can just kind of do whatever they want.
But they're not, because they started connecting them all. That's why I didn't like.
Well, they did start to do some of that.
And I was like, why are they doing that? I don't want to.
For whatever reason, they want to have everything interconnected, but they can't get away from that.
I know. I think it would have been better if it's like a one-off. But like Star Wars Visions, I thought Star Wars Vision was excellent because they were just one-offs, different styles, different ideas.
Yeah, but super cool.
But What If? That's one of the reasons I was just like, they're trying to connect stuff again. I was like, just let a zombie episode be a zombie episode, and let this other thing be an episode. But
they should do Marvel Visions. They should do the same thing with let Marvel do that kind of stuff. And they could do Star Wars What Ifs. That could be super cool to just
I guess the Lego show was their idea of Star Wars What If, which it was actually pretty good. But it was fun. If you haven't seen it, what's it called?
Rebuilding the Galaxy.
Yes, Rebuilding the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
You get Darth Jar Jar, so I mean, come on. It was fun. My kids loved it. I liked it. It was just a good time. It wasn't connected to anything. It was just a good time. Just to each piece, because it's Legos, so they connected to
each other.
I get that reference.
Anyways, Ray, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Hopefully, listeners, if you loved Agatha All Along, that's good.
Great.
If you didn't like it, it's good too.
Great.
But I hope you had fun listening to us chat. Listen to four old men talk about the Witch's Road.
It was better than the Acolyte. It was more fun than the Acolyte.
Yes.
That should be the tag.
I mean, I would go so far as to say I liked it better than Boba Fett, but that may upset some people here.
Oh, better than Boba Fett? Absolutely.
My son he enjoyed Boba Fett. So.
Well, good for him.
Well, you just finished watch it like every day. You're gonna
like it. You'd want to watch it.
You're liking this.
We're at Ahsoka now. We're started Ahsoka, but he loved Mandalorian, and he liked Boba. But he was confused. He did say in the middle of Boba Fett show, "What the heck? This is a Boba Fett show. What the heck's Mandalorian and Grogu doing here?"
Exactly. What are they doing there?
No one knows. The world will never know.
No one knows.
Yeah, it was funny because I didn't even prompt it. He's just like, "Wait a second, what's going on?"
Yeah.
I was like,
that's the thing when people complain, oh, fans are toxic and da 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 da. No, we just like things that make sense.
Yeah.
Make it good and we'll enjoy it.
From the mouths of babes. Yep.
Just make it make sense. That's all.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched Agatha All Along, well, you pretty much know the whole plot of it. But if you still want to watch it, I recommend watching it and just maybe not watch the last episode. I don't know. Or
I'd say
if you
wait
want to
till
be
next
fancy,
Halloween.
Yeah, or if you want to be fancy, cut up the last episode and just put it in the show.
Do your own editing pass.
Yeah, do your own
and then
editing.
send it to Disney Plus.
Wow.
So here I fixed it for you. There.
I mean, you could do that. It's easy to do today.
It is.
Everybody has some kind of editing program on it. You could cut it up.
Slap some AI on there. There you go. Perfect.
AI with all the
I saw
fingers.
an AI version of Polar Express. They took different scenes and they made it. And it's like, what if
That's
AI
already
could fix
creepy.
this? And it looked so much more realistic.
Oh, good.
Oh my god.
But when that movie came out, you're like, this looks so realistic. You know?
I always thought they had the
So
dead
good.
eyes.
But
they always
it
creeped me out.
it looked pretty cool. I mean, it's, they could redo it, but they don't need to.
So if they were to do a Agatha season 2, I predict that Agatha gets her body back within like the first 15 minutes of the episode.
Oh yeah, they'll blow their budget out of the water if they don't.
Because 8 episodes of her being a ghost is going to get like really old really fast.
Huh.
Yes. After they get all the jokes out of the way of her like popping her head out of weird spots and this and that. Yeah, she'll somehow get her body back.
But I don't get tired of that on Ghost though.
I was gonna say Ghost, the show Ghost, where there's all the people in the house that are ghosts.
Another fantastic show.
Both the American and the UK version.
I haven't
Watch
watched
the UK one. They're fantastic.
Both good.
Let's check it out. Is it funny?
Oh, it's funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very smartly written.
Maybe they could with other Marvel ghosts. Who knows? That could be the show. It could be like WandaVision was the funny one, the funny show, and they always have a funny series. I
think you're onto a good idea there. It could be Ghost Wanda and Ghost Agatha.
Yeah,
and the hijinks that these two ghost witches get into.
It's all the characters that have died. So you got Quicksilver in there.
Quicksilver Ghost.
There hasn't been
is like, and who else?
Tony's an actual AI.
Tony Stark.
How are they going to explain ghosts in the Marvel universe? Because
exactly,
Ghost Rider, but
he's not a ghost.
Yeah, he's not a ghost.
Skull.
Demon like name. Like, how are they going to explain ghosts? Is there? Why has there been no other ghosts?
Can everybody see her? There's like a big Avengers meeting, and she's just like, "Hey, everybody!" And oh my gosh, Agatha, you scared us. Well, I am a ghost.
Oh well, we may never see them again. Who knows? The way Disney and Marvel changes their
probably
minds.
not.
Yes.
No.
I can't imagine a lot of people were just super excited about it.
Oh, there was a lot of people.
Dude, if you look on IMDb, man,
it's rated really high on like Rotten Tomato.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, it was a fun show, but I'm not like saying like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's the best Marvel show ever made."
Yeah, but at the same time, as we were saying, I mean, all the Marvel shows, maybe Loki notwithstanding, all the Marvel shows have problems, so none of them are really grand slams,
But there's a lot of them that I like way more than this one.
Well, sure. Yeah.
They're like an SNL skit. They just don't know how to do the ending.
They don't know how to do the ending.
We can't stick the landings.
I think it's an inside joke now. Like, because every show that comes out, I'm like, oh wow, the ending was bad. I think they're just sitting around being like, how can we make this ending ruin stupid? They accomplish it every time.
Maybe they just they're like, are we getting a season 2? I'm writing the last episode. Are we getting one? And then like at the 11th hour, they're like, no. Oh God. Then you just like write whatever.
Maybe. I don't know. Well,
Maybe. Don't make it definitive, but don't make a cliffhanger either.
yeah, they should just end the show, because there's always a way to bring the show back.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't bring the show back, the show's unwatchable if you end it in a weird way. Again.
Yeah, just make it self-contained.
Just self-contained, and then if you want another season, there's a way to get into the other season.
Yeah. As long as they don't kill the main character, you're fine.
Yep.
Oh wait.
Wait a
Telling you,
second.
she's getting the body immediately. He's gonna put on his blue crown. He's gonna like get the magic fingers, and then like boom, body.
The whole series is her just jumping from dead body to dead body. Like,
could be,
dude. It's like Marvel Weekend at Bernie's or something.
Yeah.
Hey everybody.
All right. Well, I think we've approached the hour mark. So
it's time to get down that witch's road.
Yeah.
Reach the end of the witch's road.
Down the road.
What's all these Disney Plus series and the songs? It's like, guys, it's not going to be an iTunes sensation. We just stop with the song. I'm just waiting.
Song, man.
I'm just waiting for Skeleton Key. They're going to have a song in there. I'm just sure of it.
No, Skeleton Crew. I'm excited for that show.
It does look like it could be fun.
Yeah, optimistic.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's fun, and there's no characters that pop up that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the self-contained, fun, 80s Goonies-esque.
What if they pass by an event that happens?
No, I don't want them
to. It's just in the background.
They're in the
really
same
tiny.
Right. Well, I mean, I read a book. I forgot the name of it right now, but it was a Star Wars book, and it was about these two kids that grew up to be part of the Empire. One was part of the Empire, one was part of the Republic, or the Rebels, and they have their own story. But then it relates to the bigger story, so you see little things in the background, but it's not like a major part. The major part is about the relationship, or but it's I don't know. I think it could be okay if you see them pass by something, but it's not like a major interaction where they're like, it's C-3PO, he's over here, you know.
That's exactly what they'll do, though.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, brother.
I don't even know
what you're doing here.
Have they even said what time period it's supposed to be in?
No, I don't think so. I think they're searching for Watto's gold. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, you're looking for my gold. Hey! That'd be hilarious.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to suburban 80s Star Wars.
What do you think you are? Some Goonies or something?
Looking for the map to One-Eyed Watto.
Save that for the episode title for
One-Eyed Watto.
Skeleton Key.
That's why
Skeleton Crew.
Everybody's
saying
it.
You gotta be saying it
now. That comes out in December, right? Yes.
Early December, yes.
Early December. Not too far away.
Not at all.
Anyways, Ray, thank you.
Of course.
I'm sure we'll have you back on
for Skeleton Key.
Skeleton Key. Maybe What If's coming out too, right?
Maybe for the Penguin.
Oops. I would gladly sit here and
from now
enjoy some snacks. I guess talk about it.
Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Ryan, you're gonna watch it and you'll be like, oh, everything Marvel has done is garbage.
I'm a DC man now.
That's right.
I don't know.
Oh, I think so.
Well, then we got Creature Commandos comes out next month. That's the next DC show.
Oh,
animated.
Oh, and he's gone.
All right, bye.
I'm back.
Right.
Thanks for listening.
Just wanted to show you this, guys.
Guess we're done. What is that?
Ooh,
What is
It's a grenade.
What
a
is
pumpkin
this?
bomb.
Anyways, this is just for our viewers.
That's cool.
I was sent
Cool.
this. very
By the Green
randomly.
Goblin? No.
Yes,
By a fan.
but this is like the coolest thing that they've brought out for Marvel stuff. It's so cool.
It's awesome.
You can
That's
like
cool.
if you shake it and just roll on the ground, it does the countdown. It's like beep 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 beep, and then it like blows up.
Oh,
So and it was
Think of
like
another
it's
one.
like cheap. It's not expensive. So yeah. So if you like Spider-Man, there you go. There it is.
I like that. It's awesome.
Green
It's a
Goblin.
robotic eye.
I know. At first, I thought it was like the eye from Jabba's palace or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool too. I
Oh,
could just
yeah.
stop there.
Transformers eye.
Anyways, there it is. It's cool. Anyways, thank you for listening, for watching, for liking, subscribing, for commenting, all the fun stuff. We love it when we see comments. Vance, we
Yes.
can't wait for your comment on this episode. We know you will. We know you will. And anybody else. Anyways, Ray, thanks again. We'll have you back soon. And then next week, I think we're back to Living with the Landspeeder.
Mhm.
We're going to Star Warsify a Disney attraction. Who knows
Awesome.
what? I don't know. And then we'll be back with iamGEEK, which I don't know what we'll be back with on iamGEEK. Whatever geeky stuff
That'll
is going
be-
on.
Thanksgiving week, I think, right? So we may not.
Geeks giving.
We'll have to.
Oh, there
Anyway,
might be a
stay tuned.
special guest coming back for Geeks Giving.
Oh, right.
Oh no! I guess I won't be here.
By special guest, I mean Deadpool, because we all know that Deadpool is the voice of the
Anti-O.
Anti-O.
Or was he?
Oh,
It was Agatha all along.
oh.
Oh,
Good
That
night,
was
everybody. We'll see you next time on iamGEEK.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.